Here we go. We're ready to rock and roll.
All right, awesome. All right, you guys, hello. Welcome to our third and final call. This is the last week of our program already, which is kind of hard to believe. And I hope that it feels the same way to you and that you're not like, thank God, this is almost over. We hope that you're feeling like it's flown by as well. So good to see you guys. And tonight, Dara and I want to talk to you about some of the things that you guys have been struggling with as far as inviting goes. Oh my goodness. Sorry, there was just like a huge loud boom in my neighborhood and I have no idea what it was. That scared me to death. Sounded like a bomb or something. And then we also want to talk to you about follow-ups because that is our focus this week. That is the fifth daily habit activity that we have added to our focus for the week. And so we want to make sure we have some time for that. But we thought we would start with all of the stuff about inviting. And we have been seeing a lot of zeros on the invite column in your check-ins. And first of all, Dara said it last week, but we're really glad that you're being honest about it. And then at least you're checking in because that's the only way that we can help is if you tell us, I didn't do any invites today so that we can see that. And obviously we're seeing that there's a pattern there. So it seems to be something that nearly everyone is struggling with for one reason or another. And we don't want to end this program without really helping you to figure out how best to invite and how to move forward and overcome your fears in that area or any obstacles you feel like you're facing as far as inviting goes. So we want to start with that. And we'll probably kind of open this up for discussion and Q&A here, but I thought I would just start with a couple of things to begin with. And, I was reading through some of the comments on the poll and a lot of people were saying the most common answer or the most popular answer in our vote was that either people didn't know how to invite or they weren't comfortable doing it. And what some people said, and I spoke specifically to some coaches in my downline, is that they just didn't feel like they were quite at that place in conversations to invite. And that part of it, totally respect. I do not think that any of us should be friending somebody and then once they accept our friend request, sending them a message that's like, hey, great to connect with you. Do you want to be in my next online challenge group? That's absolutely what we don't want to be doing. So if that is the case, if it's really that you are just focused on building relationships and you're such a new coach, maybe you were, brand new before you jumped into this 3-week program with us and you don't feel like you have gotten to that point yet, that we get. And we do believe you have to build relationships. But we also don't want any of you to be using that as an excuse not to invite because it can become something that you kind of drag out and you say forever that you don't feel like you have gotten to the place where you're comfortable enough to invite. So just make sure you don't do that. That you force yourself to take that leap when it's time to take that leap. And when it's time when you've started having a conversation that revolves around health and fitness in some way or what it is that you do, or maybe they saw a post of yours or anything like that, or you started to learn about their goals. So that was one of the things. And I did speak to a few people on my team, and maybe this is in Dara's team as well, to people who really felt like, they've grown a lot in these 2.5 weeks. And that some of the steps that they've already taken have been really big, things like changing their profile picture to actually be of their own face and not of, their dog or something else random. Or just posting regularly online, and they're just not quite at the point of being brave enough to invite, but they do feel like they've taken other big steps. And for that, we definitely applaud you as well. And I understand, we're asking you to do a lot in 3 weeks. So I just want to reiterate that the point of us doing this is to help you build those muscles and to create those daily habits and start just like kind of making yourself do them so that it'll be easier to continue afterwards. So having said all of that, going to the second half of that where you guys said you're uncomfortable and you don't know how to invite, that's something that we can address. We can't tell you that you are in the right point in the conversation to make an invite, but we can tell you how to invite. And so I wanted to give a couple of my thoughts and what I do in terms of this, and then I'll let Dara share as well. So first of all, You should all, in my opinion, have people to invite, because you all have friends and family, I hope. You all at least have some friends and family, and unless you've been a coach for a while and you've already extended invitations to your network of friends and family, then you should have quite a few people right there to invite that you don't need to do relationship building with first, if that makes sense. So the people you know who are close to you, who are involved in your life, who are supposed to support you, who you already have relationships with, those are the people to go ahead and invite right away. And here's how I do this. It's been a long time since I was a brand new coach and I was inviting, friends and family, but here's how I talk to my coaches about doing this. I would send a message maybe to, a friend that I at least speak to somewhat regularly, or a member of my family, and say something like, hi, Sarah, I'm working on something today, and when I was thinking about people who might be interested, I thought of you. You've always been so supportive of me, and I'm a little bit nervous about this new venture of mine, but I'm also really excited, and I wanted to share it with the people who are important in my life. Simple as that, and that leads right into an invitation, right? So not only have you just led right into the opportunity to share, but you've complimented them, you've told them you thought of them, they're important to you, that they've always supported you, and that you wanted to share this new and important, exciting thing with the people in your life who are important to you and who you support you. So that's a great way to do that. And then that can lead to anything. You can turn that into, so I wanted to tell you that I'm getting ready to start my first online program as a coach, and I would love for you to be a participant in it. It would be so helpful to me to have people that I know and love.
Go, Aries, go.
Me feedback and that kind of thing. Or it could lead to, I would love for you to join my team. It would mean so much to me, or it would make this opportunity so much more incredible if I was doing this with my friends and family. I would love for you to join my team. Is this something that you would consider?
Thank you.
That's how you invite your friends and family. And like
Thank you so much.
Unless you're a coach who's been doing this for a while and you've already worked through your friends and family, that's where you should start. And I know that might even make you more uncomfortable than inviting a stranger, because no one wants to be rejected by their friends and family. But that's where you should start, because that's your warm network. That's how you can get your feet wet, and go to those people who you have a good relationship with and admit to them, I'm nervous about this. I was a little bit, intimidated to message you, but this is really important to me and I'm really excited about it. And I wanted to invite you to be part of it because you're important to me and because I thought you would support me. So that's my tip as far as friends and family. Do you want to add anything to that, Dara, before I give my next example?
No. I agree with everything you've said. Keep going,
okay.
Sister.
Okay. Does that help you guys? Those of you that I can see, if you can nod, and is that good? I can put those that I do. I don't like scripts. I definitely like, pointers and that kind of thing, but I will put that wording in there, and then you tweak it to be your personality and to work for you. But I'll put that in the group for everyone, so that you have that wording that I gave you. Okay, to the second area then, to people who maybe you don't have a relationship with. They're not your friends and family. Maybe they're new people that you connected with on Facebook because you added them as a friend as part of this training, and you're building relationships with them. My guess is, or at least my hope would be, that at some point in speaking to them, what you do would have come up in the conversation. So if you're building a new relationship with somebody, what's one of the most common things that we ask people when we're first getting to know them? What do you do? We ask them, what is it that you do? Or, we try to learn about their interests or what they do. So now maybe you are doing this as a business part-time and you have another full-time job. And so you haven't gotten into the habit of sharing what it is you do as a coach. You naturally go to whatever your full-time job is. That's normal. But hopefully at some point in the conversation, you have asked them, what is it that you do? And they have reciprocated and asked you the same thing. And that right there is the opportunity to kind of share and lead to an invite, so that you're not just randomly throwing health and fitness into the conversation with somebody that you barely know. They have they know that there's a basis for that because they know that that's something that you do because you're a coach. So hopefully that has come up in the conversation. And if it hasn't, maybe start to guide the conversation in that direction, to talk about what it is that you do or what you're into or whatever. But what I would normally say in this situation, then when I'm talking to somebody who maybe I didn't know before I connected with them on Facebook, I would say something like, this may or may not be for you. So there's those words that you learned in the podcast last week. This may or may not be for you, but I mentioned earlier that I am an online health and fitness coach. I'm actually getting ready to start up a new program, and I'm wondering if you have ever tried blank. Maybe you have ever tried Shakeology, or I'm wondering if you've ever heard of a challenge group, or I'm wondering if you've ever participated in an accountability group, or maybe it's somebody that you think would be an amazing coach. Then you could say, this may or may not be for you, but I'm actually looking for more people to join my team. And I was wondering if you've ever considered it because I think you'd be great because of XYZ. So it's just a segue into talking. It takes the pressure off when you say this may or may not be for you, because you're basically saying to them, you can tell me that this isn't for you. That's okay. I'm giving you, that the right to say that. But that's a way to kind of guide your conversation. If you feel like that would be out of left field, then, see where your conversation was before that. Like, I wouldn't just send that to somebody blindly. I would see where my conversation was before doing that. But that's kind of the way I segue conversations with people who I don't have a deeper relationship with. So those are two of my examples on inviting. Dara, do you want to add anything?
No, that's great. I mean, I try to go to their page and see what they're up to. And of course, I've been forming them. My niche is moms. I add moms. I ask about their kids. That's the first thing. Every mom likes to talk about their kids. How old are they? I talk about how fast they grow. I mean, for me, I felt like when I was working full time, I missed, time flew by because I was missing out on so much. So I try to weave in, I'm so blessed that I get to be home with my kids now. Then I ask, what do you do for work? Nobody, very rarely, you guys, does everybody, when people, they tell me what they do for work and I say, awesome, do you like it? Very rarely are they like, I love my job. No, people are working because they need to financially or whatever the case may be. I mean, I rarely find someone who is just raving about their job. So that's just an opportunity for me to weave in. Again, I'm blessed to have found a career that I'm really passionate about. And then I continue to build that relationship, see what they're posting about on their page, engage them, build that trust, build that rapport. And then if there's something that they say, they don't like their job, but they need to financially, they talk about, I weave in health and fitness and they talk about, gosh, yeah, I'm still trying to lose the baby weight or whatever, finding those cues. But if you're asking about those things that Beachbody can provide a solution, if you ask questions specific to that, you're going to find an opportunity to invite. And if you don't, I personally think if you've gotten to know them a little bit, I think it's okay to come out and say, girl, I have loved chatting with you. I love the way that you own your womanhood. I love the way that you're all about family. I love your personality just through Facebook. I'm going to go out on a limb, but have you ever considered doing what I do? Boom. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yep. Yeah, I love what Dara just said about just kind of subtly having those little things in there that you're, guiding the conversation. So for Dara, it's, relating on being a mom and saying, I'm so glad I get to be at home with them. She's not saying, I'm so glad that I became a health and fitness coach with Beachbody so that I could eventually be able to be home with my children. She's just flat out saying, I'm glad that I'm able to be home, which in most cases is going to cause that person to say, oh, how are you able to do that? Which opens the door to that conversation. So we don't want you guys to be all weird and conniving about it, but sometimes you just have to drop little things in the conversation to help guide them into the way that you want to go. And so a lot of times, one other thing that I wanted to mention about this is one of the reasons that we have you guys sharing so regularly, and one of the reasons why doing that consistently is one of the most important things that you can do, is because by doing that, a lot of people then that you're talking to are going to see, you know, that sharing, and that might cause them to go, hey, you know, while we're chatting, I noticed yesterday that you posted something about some shake that you drank. I've heard of Shakeology before. Can you tell me more about it? Or they're going to see that you did a workout and they're going to say, I saw that, you know, fitness is really important to you. Gosh, it's been a long time since I've worked out. I really need to get back into it, or whatever. You're sharing regularly so that eventually you won't have to be doing quite as much of the legwork when it comes to trying to earn the right to invite. I will tell you guys, I mean, I'm like 50 some months in Success Club, maybe even close to 60. Most of those come from people who have found me in some way, or I've started a conversation with them and they know what I do. And so the conversation has gone from there. It's very rare that I am actually cold inviting or finding new people. I will tell you that this month has been hard. February has been a difficult month, and so I've been doing a lot more conversation initiating. But 6 years of sharing health and fitness regularly has caused people to know that that's going to be an important thing for me, and it comes up very naturally in a conversation. So that's one of the reasons that we have you sharing so regularly as well.
It's called attraction marketing. It starts to work for you. When you stay consistent on social media, people start coming to you. You've expanded your network. You've met new people. You're planting seeds on social media. You're building the relationship behind the scenes. Then you're always going to have your funnel full, and it's called attraction marketing. It starts to work for you. You've created that momentum.
Yeah. And just, you guys just try to just, you know, speak like you would to a friend, even when you're talking to somebody that's somewhat, you know, new. If I'm talking to somebody in a conversation, for example, there was somebody who liked my page. I sent her a friend request, and then I just shot her a message that just said, hey, thanks so much for accepting my friend request. I saw that we have a couple mutual friends. How do you know so-and-so? And we got, you know, we kind of started talking a little bit. And then I might work in, you know, I might respond and be like, hey, just have a second to respond. I'm getting ready to go do my workout, and then blah, blah, blah. So I've just popped it in there somehow. And a lot of times that, and they, you know, say, oh, what workout are you doing? Or where do you go to the gym? Or, you know, something like that, which allows me to then, it's just throwing those little things in there.
And I think you made such a good point, is talking to someone like a friend. I feel like as a new coach, I just felt like I had to be like this robot, and it always had to get to the point, or I was vomiting information. And now just like I'm loose. Like I just talk about my day, and it's been a crazy day, the mom life and my workout. I killed it this morning. And just little talk like that. Yeah. Just be normal.
Yeah. And I know we make it sound easy, you guys, but it gets easier the longer that you do it. And if you are brand spanking new coach, you know, right into this program is when you started, just know that it's just like everything else. It gets easier and more natural the more that you do it. If you've been a coach for a long time and you still struggle with this, then I think it's time to rip the Band-Aid off and just start going for it a little bit, because that's how you're going to get over that hump. Okay, so what questions do you guys still have as far as inviting? You can use the chat tool. Before we move on to following up, we want to make sure that we've covered everything as far as helping you to get more comfortable with inviting.
Use the chat or unmute yourself before we move on if you have any questions.
Like home. I mean, it feels like the place we go and the kids.
So I'm not having trouble inviting people. My biggest hurdle is when it starts talking about price. And of course I try and tell them, you know, how much money it's actually ended up saving me. And I understand it's, you know, $200 right up front, but when you realize that like your grocery bill is cheaper because you did all of your prep ahead and you're not buying that coffee every morning, and you're not going out to lunch every day, but it's like, I don't know how to get that through to them so that like they'll do it. Like that's been like, I can't get anybody to sign up because that's the point where I get stuck.
So the way that I always approach this is I really, of course, I make sure that I've, you know, talked to them about their goals so that I'm assuming that you've already done that, Courtney, that you have, you know what their reason is, you've kind of connected their emotional reason, all that kind of stuff. Let's just assume that that's in place. So then when I invite them and I talk to them about price, the way that I always approach it is I say, if I'm doing the Beachbody On Demand, which is what I'm doing with everyone right now, that package, that it's $199. And then I say, with that you get, and I explain that they're getting an entire year of access to all the, every program in the Beachbody library, any new programs that come out this year, a 30-day supply of Shakeology in the flavor of their choice with a money-back guarantee, all of that. But then I also, that's where I put in, plus you will receive my coaching included in that price for 4 weeks. So it's like a bundle. And then I kind of try to break it down. Like, I say, the $199 price I think comes out to be $5 a month for Beachbody On Demand, and then that they're saving like $70 on Shakeology by doing it that way. So I'm always like kind of highlighting what the savings are, talking to them about, what's included. And then I just always highlight that my coaching is included in that package. Because for the most part, when I'm talking to somebody about anything to do with, with these products and whatever, it's because they've sought out my coaching, not because they've sought out a product. So if I lead with the coaching and then I say, and they say, how do I get your coaching, or how much does your coaching cost? I say, your investment actually goes directly to the tools that are going to help you to get results. And my coaching is included in that package price, rather than I'm pitching the products and everything, and then at the tail end, I'm adding my coaching. And that's what always helps me, is that I'm focusing more on what I can offer them and what they're going to get from me, and how, in order to get that, they need to get those other tools.
I do the same thing. I list it out. I have a graphic actually of everything they get in the All Access, all the programs, the containers, the 30 days of Shakeology, and I boom, 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 boom. And when they see, like, it's seriously such a value. And when you put that value behind it, it's really hard to argue. And I tell them, like, if I talk to them about their goals, and we talk about 21-day fix because they want a mix of cardio and weights and they need help with nutrition. We talk about 21-day fix, and then I say, do you plan on being with me for more than 21 days? And they say yes. And I say, great, because we have this All Access pass, and I'm going to be with you for an entire year. Yeah. And so you don't get that at a gym membership. You get a gym membership, and that's it. No meal plan, no coach. So I kind of feed into all of those pieces. Like, they get the Fixate cooking show and the customizable meal plans. So once they finish 21-day fix, they can jump into Insanity Max 30 and then Beast, and they can go through all of these programs every time they reach new fitness goals. And it's just, I say, this is a lifestyle. I'm going to be with you for the long haul, and this is a lifestyle package.
Yeah. Dara, will you share that graphic?
Yes.
I want to see.
Yes, I will.
Okay, awesome. Share that in the group. So one other thing that I wanted to add, I think I said this, but I wasn't sure. I say in that message as well, I don't charge for my coaching when you get a package. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how I word it. Like, so that it implies my coaching is not free, but it is when you get a package, because I want them to understand, like, this is a business. I'm offering a service. It's a service that people would pay for. But when you get this package, then all of your money goes to the tools you're going to get, not to just paying, a fee or whatever. And I work in the fitness industry, even outside of coaching, and I did for years before I was a coach. So I know how much gym memberships cost and how much personal training costs and all of that. And so I can give those as examples if I need to as well. I basically say, I'm going to be your virtual personal trainer, and personal training, costs like $60 plus an hour, at least, depending on where you live otherwise. So yeah, same kind of thing as breaking it down. And Amaya, I think that's how you pronounce your name. I see that she listed in the chat. That's kind of where she struggles, is that they don't want to spend their hard-earned money on something that they don't know will work. And again, with that, I go back to, we talk about the 30-day money-back guarantee. That's one of the big things that I talk about, is like, but then also, that's where you kind of have to go back to proof, you know, for them that it works by offering illustrations of it or figuring out what their need is.
So you guys, every program, even All Access, money back guarantee. Shakeology, bottom of the bag guarantee. We are the only company that will let you drink the entire bag of Shakeology or shake and send the empty bag back if they don't like it. They have nothing to lose. They can commit, they can invest in it, in their hard-earned money, invest in it. And if they are not happy, send it back for their full refund. I tell people that. That's how confident I am that if they work the program, they're going to get results. Bottom line.
Yeah. Yep, totally. Okay, Shayna said, I'm struggling with what to invite to. Do you have a sample of invites to do throughout the month, or perhaps an event planning schedule, like free groups, live coaching events, monthly challenge groups, etc.?
Who is your, is Shayna on your team or my team? I mean, I do a
She's
team.
in my downline, yep.
Okay.
Do you want to go first?
No, I was just going to say I do a team calendar, but if she's in your downline, that's probably.
Oh, right. Yeah, so I don't have a team calendar where I do what to invite to. That's definitely something I could give a sample of. But for me, it is almost always a group. You know, I don't call them groups anymore. I call them programs. I used to, in the beginning of my business, I ran 2 a month. That was how I really was able to build my traction for, you know, Success Club 10. I would start one on the first Monday of the month and the third Monday of the month. And so I always had something to invite to because of that. Now I run them once a month because I've gotten to a point where I don't need to do twice a month. And it was, you know, for a little while it was overwhelming to do 2 a month. And they always start on the first Monday of the month. So I'm pretty much always inviting to that, you know, because generally conversations take a little while to have between, you know, people to get them interested, to get them to the point of making a decision. And they make their purchase and whatever. So I'm almost always inviting to that. As far as free groups, I personally don't really do them anymore. I'm at a point in my business where I don't need to as much, but I definitely recommend them when you are a newer coach. And I know a lot of coaches, I mean, even Melanie Mitro, I think, says that she does them once a month, you know, for a 5-day period. For me, they started to get like, every single time it was the exact same people in my free groups. So I got rid of them. But as a new coach, I do recommend that you do those and that you set them at the same week in the month. So what I have heard people do is, you know, their challenge group will start the first Monday of every month. Their free group will start the third Monday of every month. And so it will run that 5 days. And then from that free group of people, you're inviting to your next paid group, which starts 2 weeks later. So you're able to, like, you know, build the rapport with them in that free group and show them how they're going to get results and teach them about things and give them a taste of what they will get in the full out program. And then you take those people from the free group and you try to get them into your next group, which is the first Monday of the following month. So that's what I would advise.
Agreed. Start it in the beginning, offer that value, build those relationships, share what we do as coaches, kind of give them a feel for what happens in a larger group. And then once they finish the free group, thanks for participating. What are your goals going forward? And then inviting into the full challenge group.
And then from the challenge group, from that, you know, 3 week or 4 week, however long you do it, challenge group, then you invite from there to the coaching opportunity, because then they've been clients that have gone through a program, they've seen the products, they've seen that they've worked, they've been a part of, you know, the atmosphere of a program. And then it's time to say, have you loved what you've done the past month? I would love for you to learn more about what I do and how you can do it as well, how you can pay it forward, how you know, a lot of times I'll say, have people been noticing the results that you've been getting? Have they been asking about it? This is a great opportunity to pay it forward and share with them. I'm hosting a live coaching opportunity event. I would love for you to come. So I always finish my groups with an invitation to learn about coaching.
Yeah, and I do that. So I'll do it in a free group. If someone's seriously showing up and rocking it out, supporting the other people in the group, I'll straight up just ask about coaching even at that time. But anyone who's rocking it out in your group, who's showing up, who's posting, who's motivating the rest of the group, they're your next coach. They're already doing what we do. And I just tell them that, girl, you are rocking this group. You're basically doing what we do as coaches. Have you ever considered?
Yeah.
It's just like a little sitting note. Right now, I really
Okay,
Anything else as far as invites, or should we move on to follow-ups?
let's move on to follow-ups.
Okay.
face it.
And if you guys do have something else that you think of as we're chatting, just put it in the chat tool. So as far as follow-ups go, obviously that's one of the other activities that you need to have is like a daily habit, and the more you're talking to people, the more that follow-ups are going to come into play. But what I have found the most common struggles are for people with follow-ups is kind of knowing when to follow up with people, like how soon after you've sent a message should you follow up and check in with them, and kind of how to follow up. So we thought we would touch on that a little bit. So I'll share first of all, as far as time frame goes, and Dara and I didn't prep this. We didn't come together and say let's tell them this. We're both going to just share our experience and what we do, and my guess is it's probably pretty similar. So for me, if it's an initial invitation of some sort that I've talked to somebody about the coaching opportunity or a program or Shakeology or whatever, if it's that initial invite, I generally let there be like a day between, and then I follow up, but no more than a day. And the reason for that is, I don't know about you, but I often read messages and forget about them. And it's not that I don't want to get back to the person or that I'm not planning to, but if I read an email on my phone, like it's dead. If I read an email on my phone and I don't respond immediately, chances are it's not going to get a response, because the next time that I go into my inbox, it doesn't show up as unread anymore, and I forget about it and I feel terrible. I'll like 3 days later, I'll email somebody and be like, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have read your message while I was at a stoplight. But so I always give that solid day in between. You never know what's going on in somebody's life. Everybody is busy nowadays. So if I invite, let's say I were to send an invite, tonight or whatever, I would give all day tomorrow and probably part of the day on Thursday, and like midday Thursday, I would just say follow up, and I would say something as simple as, hey, I just wanted to make sure you got my message about blank on Tuesday. And that's like as simple as it would be. If they hadn't responded, I would just say, did you get my message? I wouldn't go into, tons of other information. I would just simply ask, did you get it? Did you have a chance to look at it? I totally understand, how things can get busy. Just wanted to make sure you received the message. Then if they don't respond to that, or I don't hear back from them from that, follow-up message, I'll generally give it a couple of days then that time. So it's like 1 to 1.5 days, depending on the time of day that the first message was sent. And then I'll give it, like 2 days, 3 max. And then I'll shoot another message and just say, I'm just following up one more time. I certainly don't want to bother you, but I know that you were interested in blank, or the last time we spoke, we talked about XYZ. And I wanted to make sure you got my message and to get you set up if you're ready to go, or something like that. If they don't reply to that, then again, I space it out a little bit more. So I kind of just space it out a little bit longer, but not so long that it's like, why is this weirdo messaging me, 2 weeks later? But enough that there's a buffer in there. Like we said last week, I never take anybody off of my list. So if they just go MIA on me, like radio silence after we'd been talking, I will generally send them a message and say, hey, I haven't heard back from you, and try to just kind of give them a, maybe this wasn't for you, or perhaps you weren't interested, or maybe it's just a busy time in your life. Either way, I just wanted to, reach out one last time and let you know that I'm here to talk if you're ready, blah, 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 blah. I'll reach out to you again in a month, or I'll reach out to you again in a couple of months. And usually I just leave it at that. So basically I've told them, you can expect to hear from me again. And I've also, kind of given them a timeline of when. And if they really don't want to hear from me, then when I've said, I'll reach back out to you in a month or so, they will probably respond and be like, I'm really just not interested. And they'll probably try to cut it off then, rather than both of us wondering, especially me, what happened. Or they will respond and be like, I'm so sorry. I haven't been ignoring your messages. Here's what's been going on. And they explain what's been going on in their life for why they haven't responded. Maybe it's that they, were like, I just realized I couldn't financially invest in it right now, but I'd love to talk to you next month. Or maybe it's something big that happened in their family, whatever. But so I just kind of stagger my follow-ups and I space them out a little bit more with each one. I definitely don't message people on a daily basis, to follow up with them. What about you, Dara?
Sorry. Yes, I absolutely agree. So mine is the same kind of flow as Lindsay, maybe some other options that I throw out. If it's challenge group, hey, my group is getting ready to start. Should I save your spot?
Yes.
That sometimes elicits a response. Or should I check back with you next month? Get that follow-up. If they're not responding, sometimes you're letting them off the hook when you say, it looks like this month isn't good. Can I follow up with you next month? And usually they're like, yes, next month will be better. So that locks you in to a follow-up for the future. And if they say, no, referrals are great to ask. Well, maybe it's not for you, but do you know anybody who may be interested? I've gotten a lot of referrals that way. And I like, I think I have some just quick statistics, which Lindsay posted, but 45% of people give up after the first no. But really where the magic happens is after the 5th and 6th no. And no, non-response, no, not looking at the message. Just keep on their radar, keep sharing and showing up, comment on their post, staying friendly, reaching out. And sometimes if they don't respond to the invite, then I just try to reach out, nothing related to what we do, and just be friendly.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times if they see that you're willing to just be friendly and you're not out for a sale, that continues to build that trust, which eventually will lead to a stronger relationship.
Yeah, a couple things. I totally echo what Dara said about, if you have a group coming up and there's a deadline, I will say, my group's starting on X date. I just want to be sure that you get in if you really wanted to participate in this time. So you're giving them that sense of urgency and why you need to hear back from them and that kind of thing. That's golden for sure. And then the other thing I would say is the beauty of Facebook is make sure you go and look at their profile, because something may be going on. And if you're messaging them and you're following up with them and you're kind of like almost like following up too much, and maybe they shared yesterday that their dad passed away, like they're going to be like, really, this girl keeps messaging me about being in her, in her challenge group. Didn't she see that I just shared that my dad died? You should go and look at their page and make sure that there isn't a legitimate big reason for why they're not responding to you. And if there is something like that, then of course you want to send them a message and be like, I just saw what you shared and I just want you to know I'm thinking of you. I'm so sorry, those kinds of things. So again, that way it's a relationship and you're not focusing on a transaction.
Yep.
Okay, so Elaine says, at this point, is there any value if people want to order all access without Shakeology? I love Shakeology and want to encourage people to try it, but if it's all about cost, even with the bottom of the bag guarantee, does that make sense?
No. I mean,
go ahead, Dara.
You hear about top coaches, Melanie Mitchell, they wouldn't commit to the whole thing. I mean, if it's something or nothing, always something. Help them get a program. Help them get a sampler pack of Shakeology. Just help them. Sometimes even at this point, I just add people in and support them and help them no matter what. Help people without expecting anything in return. And I mean, really, if that's all they can swing, help them. Let them get a taste of that. I mean, in all the videos, the workout videos, doesn't Shakeology come on at the end? And adding them into your group, and your group is talking about Shakeology, and you're posting these Reese's Pieces peanut butter cup Shakeology yumminess. I mean, it's going to come back around. Yeah.
I agree. Definitely. If they're like, I really can't do the package with Shakeology, but I'd love to get Beachbody on demand. And then that's what, you've got to meet them where they are, and that will come back, to reward you later, because they'll be like, oh, she's great. She was telling me this is what I needed to get, but she, met me where I was. I think I mentioned maybe on our first call, I don't remember But one of the top coaches on my team is a girl who originally got Les Mills Pump through the payment plan through Beachbody and didn't order it through me, but I let her participate anyway. And she has said multiple times, I never would have become a coach if Lindy hadn't originally allowed me to be in there. And she didn't get anything out of me being in there because I couldn't afford it at the time. Now, I also want to say, treat your business like a business. You can't run groups every month with a bunch of people who aren't buying anything from you, because that's not going to get you anywhere. So you definitely have to be careful with that. I know that coaches tend to be very giving people who want to help others, but you don't want to 6 months from now be like, wow, I've spent all these hours running these groups and nobody's ever, become a client. So you have to be careful. But yeah, if somebody's like, I'm ready to do this, but I just can't do that package, I can do this one, you need to do what they can do.
We've got a lot of fun little things, which is really what I
Anything else, you guys?
found these really cool black.
They're just ready to rock and roll.
Yeah. Or they're tired.
I know. Oh, that too.
So we'll give it just a second in case anybody is typing in the chat and it hasn't popped up yet.
Did you say something, Elaine?
I was going to say, just to Lindy's point, if you have somebody in your challenge group that might have been there 2 months and they're still not getting off the starting line to purchase something, what do?
Yeah.
They go see Lindy and Dara. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I make sure that anybody who is going to participate in my group, and if they're not going to purchase something, I make sure they still set up a free account with Beachbody, so they're at least assigned to me as a client, so that when they do, make a decision to a program or something, then I'm already going to be with them. And I'm not sure how Dara handles this, but I don't do freebies over and over and over again. Like, if they have I will do that, from time to time to help somebody get started. Or if somebody, says, I just can't afford anything right now, I might have them do just something really small to get them started. But I won't let people participate in my groups, where my groups are, 4 weeks long, and I'm giving education and training, and I'm in there supporting day after day after day. And I just don't let people stay in if they're not doing anything, because that's just like, can you imagine a chiropractor or a hairstylist or a doctor or any of those people, like, just letting somebody come over and over and over again for free? None of them would do that. And we can't do that with our businesses either.
Nope, this is a business. This is a business at the end of the day. And I think you have to set some boundaries on that too, because I think nothing is free. I mean, nothing. I mean, we do help people, but at the end of the day, the free groups, I mean, we've run them, or I've run them, and there's only so much you can offer people. The accountability only can go so far. If they don't have the right tools, they're not going to make much progress. And I think the free group is great to some extent, but eventually they need tools. They need tools to help them work. Otherwise, I mean, they could go find something on the internet and try that. I mean, we have tools that work, and I think there's a lot of merit in having kind of that.
And I just really have a very hard time believing that somebody can't, like, I will say you at least need to get like the Portion Fix program, which is like, I don't know, $50 or something like that, or the Fix8 cookbook, or, they've at least got to put some skin in the game of some sort. I do have a hard time believing that somebody, a month after month after month, they couldn't invest $40 or $50 in something small to support you if you have been supporting them in that way. And what I will say when that happens is, hey, I am so glad that you want to continue to participate and that you are benefiting from my coaching and from being a part of these groups. But in order to continue on, I do need you to officially become a client by investing in a program or a product of some sort. I mean, I will just tell them, that, because we teach people how to treat us as coaches. And if we are just giving away, forever, then nobody's ever going to respect our business as a coach and actually, think that it's a legitimate business. There was something else I was going to say. Shoot, there was something else I was going to say with that. Oh, that's the other thing. When Dara mentioned free groups, I would say, you know, I'm glad that you want to participate. If you offer free groups, Elaine, I don't know if you ever do those, but I would either say, you know, from time to time, I offer free groups, and I think that that's what would be a better fit for you at this time. Or my team offers a free group, you know, that's where you don't have to make an investment. You know, I tell them about those because those generally have a good amount of information in them, and I say you're allowed to participate in those as much as you want. But for these 4-week programs, I do require that you become a client. Chelsea said, I struggle with challenge group content for posts. Let me see. I'm not sure which one Chelsea is, but, oh, there you are. I see you. Are you familiar with the tools in the online office?
And even in the Beachbody Challenge Tracker app that we're a part of, there's challenge guides in there that are already listed out for all of the programs. There are challenge group ideas. There are some that are program specific. Also in the online office and Google, if you know, put in challenge group post ideas, there are graphics, there are tons of documents that you can go wild with those. Yeah, and in your like Dara said, in the challenge tracker app, I guess I just started committing to the tracker app in the last couple of months, so I'm still familiarizing myself with it. But in your Coach Online office under sales and marketing, I think, and then challenge groups, there's challenge group guides, and they've literally created a challenge group guide for every single program that Beachbody offers, as well as just a Shakeology group and a multi-program group. I generally don't like to use like their guide from top to bottom if I'm doing a program specific one. I will pull from a couple of different ones, and then I'll create my own file to keep of the ones that I like. And then I'll add my own in there as well. But at least if there's a day where I'm like, and I'm in a big hurry or I'm struggling for content, I will absolutely go to one of those and pull something out of it. Cool. Making a Google Doc sheet for them to check in on has really helped the challenge group I run with another coach. We do a daily challenge, take O pick. Okay, I think she was giving Chelsea ideas in that one. Cool. All right, you guys, anything else before we sign off? Okay, so I know this is our final call, but that doesn't mean to just check out for the rest of the week. We want to finish the week strong. We have 2 more amazing podcasts for you guys to listen to. I've saved one of my absolute favorites for the end of our program, so make sure that you continue to check in. You finish this program strong. We'll probably do, you know, a wrap up of some sort on Sunday. Stay committed, stay in it, finish the week strong, and then make sure that whoever your upline sponsor is, whether it's somebody between you and me or you and Dara, or whether it's us, make sure you connect with them through sometime during this week and just talk about your experience in the group, what you've learned, maybe what you need help with, you know, where you need support. Let them know so that they can be there for you as you transition out of this and stick with those daily habits, because that's what's going to help you, is that consistency. Oh, Shayna. For some of your tips with inviting, could you share some bullet points or scripts that you personalize as our own, like how you mentioned your coaching as part of the package? Yeah, we can upload some examples in the group. We already have an invite document going in there, and I think Lindy and I could upload a few more in there. Yeah. Right? Yeah, I think that's what you mean. Sometimes it's good to have a visual. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yep. Okay, everyone. All right. Thanks, you guys. Have a great night. Bye.